Peter.
Just to get the breath in
The
there.
ODR season is almost over.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it is. Outdoor hockey?
Northdale has a refrigerated outdoor sheet.
Oh, they do. That's pretty cool.
Guy.
Okay, sorry, Guy. I'm talking about real outdoor where you don't. It's refrigerated by the Lord. Where
The Lord is in charge of your refrigeration
yes,
system.
No, I'm just saying.
You got a bad
natural
Yelp
ice.
review. I'd go with somebody else.
Natural ice. What? Either what's the first outdoor rink or the best outdoor rink, or what outdoor rink did you grow up on? You can choose either of those. Mine's the same for all, so it doesn't matter.
Does the John Rose Oval count?
It's whatever you want it to be. It's your answer. You get to craft it however you want.
I think I'm going to go with the ice sheet at Lexington Park.
Is that in Roseville?
Technically, it's on the Roseville side of the border. It's on the corner.
I know where Lexington Park is.
I think it's county. Well, there was a Lexington Park at the corner of University and Lexington.
No, this is just north of 36.
This is just
on Lexington,
south of 36. It's Lexington and County B.
I think it's north.
It's not north.
Okay, sorry, wrong. I might have the wrong park.
You.
Okay.
Lexington Park is where my parents used to take me when I was just a little tyke.
All right.
And once I learned that I couldn't bring my stick to Aldrich Arena's open skate, I would go to Lexington Park.
Nice.
And my poor mom or dad would sit there and watch me fall down and whack pucks around.
Okay. We grew up near Lake of the Isles.
Okay.
And I would walk 4 or 5 blocks from my house to Lake of the Isles almost every day with the lunch and play hockey. It was fantastic. And I didn't realize at the time, but over my shoulder was the downtown skyline. It's pretty cool, to play that close, grow up that close to downtown in a really fun neighborhood with a completely different backgrounds from lots of different people. We had the richest of the rich and the middle classest of the middle classest kids converging on one another. We had kids who were going to prep school in Blake and Benilde. And
hold on, so you had the richest of the rich, the middle class, the most middle class. No poor kids allowed.
No, I'm just talking about hockey kids. There weren't a lot. I mean, when we played other sports, there were other kids.
Like neighborhood football games.
Yeah.
Oh man.
But it was crazy. Lake of the Isles was a pretty cool place to grow up playing hockey. It was just the high school team, Minneapolis West, would practice outdoors there. There was a Sunday skate there. Someone once told me when I was 10, 12 years old that the attendance at Lake of the Isles for skating, and they counted the attendees, combined, the rest of the cities didn't have as much attendance as they did at Lake of the Isles. It's that nice of a place to skate.
Oh, that makes sense.
It was awesome. I mean, the quality ice was always tip-top. It was great warming house, easy location. And the best part is because the lake's frozen, right? So all the kids from both sides of the lake could
just walk over.
They could just really walk right across the lake. It was a majestic place to grow up. I loved Lake of the Isles.
I've never skated on Como Lake. I don't know if I trust the ice thickness, although I've seen people ice fishing. I don't know what they're fishing for on Como Lake. But I had a friend who shoveled off some snow and was skating around on Como Lake. And if you want to see a postcard in real life, look at one single hockey player with the Como Pavilion in the background.
Be cool. That'd be cool.
Snow on the trees. It's kind of interesting that you and I had almost parallel childhoods, even though we're so far apart in age.
Right.
Because I grew up playing neighborhood football games, neighborhood basketball games, 21 hustle, playing outdoor rinks. And so did you.
I did. Loved it.
I weep for today's youth.
I loved it. Well, we're going to talk a lot about our youth hockey that's going on today. Should be a fun show.
Yeah.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota. Cold like Minnesota.
What on earth are you watching?
I was watching a TikTok
That sounded
Kayla
like
Joe
that sounded
sent
like
me.
a commercial for Home of Economy.
I don't know what it was. Actually, it was just a picture of her outdoor rink. It was quite interesting. That
was the text that
yeah.
she
Now,
sent?
now you're gonna watch it too.
Well,
The
yeah.
show's totally getting hijacked. While you're
not gonna get
hijacking the show, what are you gonna chime in there?
I was just gonna say that TikTok that I made,
Yeah,
it got 67,000 likes.
67,000
Mm-hmm.
Are you kidding me?
likes.
Yeah.
Likes.
Yeah, it got 500,000 views.
Organic likes.
Wow.
It got how many views?
500,000.
Of you crawling around your rink.
It's technically Alex crawling around our rink, but it's my little brother.
Oh, that's not
come
you?
on. I don't want to.
Oh, I thought it was you.
No.
Sorry, you were kind of bundled up. Alex was kind of
I
bundled
want
up.
to see if I can watch this without having to download TikTok.
Okay.
You don't have to.
Okay. So while he's TikToking over here to my right, I will talk about what's going on in youth hockey. And there's a couple anomalies here. I'm going to start squirts, peewees, and bantams. Here's one for you, Peter. See if you could do the math on this. Last Saturday, Jefferson, the gold bracket champion in the Squirtacular, beat Chaskatchan, the platinum bracket champion. Have you ever seen that before?
One time I went out to dinner.
Oh, here we go.
And two friends tried to pay. One had an Amex Gold. One had
here
an
we go.
Amex Platinum. The Platinum was maxed out. The Gold was not. Gold got to pay for dinner. So I
you
suppose
have seen
you
that.
could. Yeah, I've seen Gold trump Platinum before.
I have never seen that before. That may never happen ever again. I think it's kind of cool.
Is Jefferson experiencing a rebirth?
I live in Bloomington, and I see a lot of new families taking over the departed families. Finally, the ones that we wanted to depart when we moved into the neighborhood. Just because we wanted more young kids, families in our neighborhoods, and now it's definitely happening in West Bloomington. And you got a guy like Mark Stenback, who's the heart and soul of Jefferson hockey, who keeps it going. I think when Kennedy's hockey program merged into Jefferson, I think that there's going to be some good hockey teams in Bloomington. We'll see what happens at the high school level, but there's a lot of good hockey players with Bloomington addresses. You look at Tyler Graham and Carter Krinke and Tristan Brose. All these kids are really good hockey players that just don't end up at Jefferson. And if you can merge all that together, you'd have a pretty nice high school team, which is all you really want for any of these, older suburbs.
Oh, yeah. I think a Squirtacular championship is something the older suburbs should settle for.
I agree. All right. 10A, speaking of Bloomington, Roseville Matamidi, one of the top 3 teams in the state. They win the Cupid Classic 6-2 over Wayzata.
Is Roseville experiencing a rebirth?
Yeah, I think
I'm going to
so.
ask that about every champion today.
I think so. I think Roseville's got a lot of good athletes in hockey, in both boys and girls, so it's going to be exciting to watch.
I love that co-op because I think those two programs complement each other nicely, where it's not an overwhelming amount of talent where it makes games, not fun for anyone, but it's a nice mix of pieces fitting together.
Yeah, I think so too, and it's not like one is just overwhelmingly has more people or overwhelmingly more talent either. I mean, Matamidi, as we've seen at the boys' side, has been fantastic. It has a lot of talent in Matamidi. If you look through all the great players over the last, handful of years, and then you talk about players that grew up there but didn't play there. That play at Hill Murray, or you get Ryan Chesley who played at Shattuck, who's now at the Gophers. There's a lot of good talent in that little pocket of Matamidi.
Oh yeah,
playing hockey, and I think it's on the girls' side too. We just haven't quite seen it yet.
I think it is too, but I think what I'm trying to say is you look at the high school team where, if Roseville had stayed separate from Matamidi, they very well could have been the 4 seed in the section as they were anyway. But now their numbers get a boost. Now they can afford to have 4 lines on the varsity bench, 6D. They can keep more players and keep them fresher and all that good stuff, et cetera, et cetera.
It's good on the girls' side. There's no question. All right, 12B, same tournament, Woodbury Black. Woodbury just seems to be a common denominator in all of youth hockey this year. They beat Wayzata. Yeah, every level. Woodbury beats Wayzata 3-0. In the Cupid Classic, which is a good piece of news came out of, speaking of Woodbury, came out this week. District 8, I'm not sure of the exact language of this, so I'm prefacing this that I don't have it exactly down, but
Okay.
there was a vote, and I don't know exactly what the vote was, but it voted in favor of Woodbury and Eastridge separating their hockey associations.
Okay.
And it'll end up going to the board of Minnesota Hockey. But now they have support at the district level from the district teams
To split.
And and here's what's interesting, and there's lawyers involved too. That's what makes this extremely.
So you
interesting.
and I have had the same conversation with different people.
Probably.
Okay.
It doesn't matter. But what's interesting here is, and I'm not sure, and where the legalities come into, is how you make your association, right? So what I mean by association is like, for example, Lakeville. If you live in Lakeville and you live in the Lakeville North school boundaries, you play for Lakeville North School Youth Hockey Association.
Okay.
Right? And same for Jefferson or Edina or wherever. It's all by school boundaries, right?
Okay.
What Woodbury's contending, people from Woodbury are contending that if you live in Cottage, there are people who live in Cottage Grove who actually live in the Eastridge boundary. But because they actually make their hockey association based on the city's boundary and not by the school district's boundaries, that's where the biggest, I think, push and pull comes in this discussion. Regardless, it could look someday, and if Minnesota Hockey could make this decision, there'll be a Woodbury High School boundary youth hockey association. There'll be an Eastridge school boundary youth hockey association and a Park Cottage Grove youth hockey association.
Well, there's a park.
Yeah, but
already.
if you live in Cottage Grove, Minnesota, but you're in the Eastridge school district, you can't play youth hockey for them. You have to play in Cottage Grove, the Park Cottage Grove Association. It's interesting. All I'm saying is interesting. We'll see how this thing shakes out. Probably the spring meeting in late April, it'll get decided.
And from what I've heard, the Woodbury Association said, no, we don't want to split.
Yes, I don't. Again, I've heard so many different versions of this, but I know that there was a vote, and the vote was, 2-1 type, like 60%, 66% to 33% type of vote.
Is there a precedent for splitting an association of this level of talent and enrollment? Because I can think of a precedent going the other way.
What would that be?
Osseo Maple Grove.
Yeah, well, that's what you think of immediately. You think of Chaskatchan and Osseo Maple Grove and Lakeville. Those are the big ones, right?
Yeah. So
Lakeville actually is one association. They just don't say Lakeville North, Lakeville South like they do Osseo and Maple Grove, right? So and Chaskatchan, but that's the exact same.
But they split their teams by North and South.
In youth, yes, in youth. But they are one hockey association.
Right, but I'm saying because
they're obviously the youth girls they play.
But let's be real. For 90% of the people involved in this discussion, not directly involved with the association, it's not about keeping everybody's paperwork in line. It's about splitting up what has become a dominant youth association.
A dynasty.
If Woodbury youth hockey wasn't good, nobody
would care.
Boo. So from the outside looking in, it appears as though the adults are trying to play God here because the association has gotten too good. I'm not saying they shouldn't break it up, because if you break it up, you give more kids a chance to play at a higher level. And given how Woodbury has grown as a municipality, and the fact that both high schools, are they close to reaching max enrollment?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
So Eastridge has been open for 14 years now. And, by and large, Eastridge High School has been pretty good at athletics, boys hockey notwithstanding.
Yeah.
So from a logistics and a getting more kids to participate standpoint, I understand it, but the general tone of the splitter side of this, it feels more punitive than anything else.
A little bit. I agree. Yeah, no one would care if they weren't good.
Well, that's how it is with everything, though.
I agree.
Like, nobody would care about transfers if the transfers weren't good.
Well, I think part
nobody
of it
would care about association switching if the associations weren't good.
I actually had a kid, a friend of mine. He's like, his kid's like either at Chaska High School or Holy Family are going to go to one or back. And I said, well, he can't transfer back to, I think he's at Holy Family now. He can't transfer back to Chaska or Chanhassen without sitting out a year. You know what the guy said? He goes, my kid's not good enough. No one's going to care.
That is a parent that has a very accurate view of their child's ability.
I'm like, I don't think that matters. But if you think that doesn't matter, then you're probably right.
Yeah. Well, okay. So let's say that Woodbury does split along the school boundaries. And then for whatever reason, mass exodus, lack of interest in the hockey program, long tenured coaches moving on from the youth program. What if all of a sudden both Woodbury and Eastridge associations just aren't very good?
Well, I think Eastridge has I've heard it's 80-20.
80-20 Eastridge.
Yeah.
Wow.
Where it's like Woodbury would become like Tartan. It would be low numbers.
So are we willing?
Three at the an A team, a B team, and a C team type of thing.
So are we willing to kill off an association because that association has all of a sudden become good?
I'm
we're
not
willing to
saying
do
I'm
here?
in for or against. I'm not the principal. We've been through this.
I'm not saying I'm for
the principal
or
of the
against
school
either.
here.
I'm just throwing out some questions here.
I think it's a very, very valid question.
But everybody, and this could bleed into high school too, everybody has 10-foot vision in front of them. They can only see this year or this senior class. What happens when, like with, to borrow from the girls' high school side, Gentry, when they graduate this senior class, nobody's going to say boo about them playing high school hockey because it won't matter.
It won't matter.
So you're hemming and hawing for something that's going to be over in 6 weeks anyway. So how much energy do we want to put behind this?
We'll see.
What's the ultimate goal here? Is the ultimate goal to build the best hockey players, or is the ultimate goal to uphold the tradition of Minnesota hockey, which is as much participation as possible?
I think it should be that. I think it should be what can we do that would give kids a fair playing field. You get to these games, you see some of these games like when a team gets assigned.
Happens all the time.
You know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, Kennedy, for example. I'm just thinking our neighbors. They had a B1 team one year when they probably should have been B2. Or the opposite. Kennedy plays A when they should have been double A, and they just kill everybody in A. Yep. You know what I mean? Like that happens. It's not imperfect science, right?
Well, I think
this is going to hurt kids who live in that Woodbury school district if that happens.
I look back on Johnson, Como, North St. Paul when they had that one class, Moberg, Pagreba, Gruba, Galinshin, all those kids that were so good and they won state. And I remember, it's Johnson Como. We could have won state too if we had 3 associations.
Yeah.
East Metro is scrapping for kids right now.
I know.
It can change like that.
I know. And why hurt these kids? Like, I'll never forget it was a quarterfinal game up at the Snake Pit in Coleraine. I got the chance to watch Edina play Johnson, Como, North St. Paul. This is seriously one of the greatest, and it was a great hockey game. I think it might even have gone to overtime. And it was right on the heels. I went up to Grand Rapids and watched Osseo Maple Grove play Edina in what was basically the state championship, but it was the quarterfinal game. And I'm like, I'm going to run over and check out this other Edina game, the Edina Johnson Como. Mm-hmm. It was one of the greatest things I've ever seen. I mean, there was I swear to God, after the second period, all of the Johnson Como people went outside and they were smoking cigarettes. And all of the Edina fans went out to their car and were drinking beer. I was like, pick your poison. I almost wanted to take 2 pictures of this. You're like, how are you going to hurt your body more between periods? With a cigarette or with a beer?
Have you ever had to toss out a drunk parent for a tournament?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Have you ever had to toss out a parent for smoking too many heaters in the parking lot?
No.
Well, but I picked my poison there.
I'd toss them out if they were smoking in the rink. That's for sure. It was just, and it's funny. I was talking to an Edina dad about that just recently, and they thought it was cool too.
Yeah,
like this was awesome. It was an awesome game. They were better than us. They were bigger. They were stronger. They were faster. They deserved to beat us. And I think they ended up playing in the next year over at Fogarty in the state final, and that was the one game. Uma was in the state final and lost. That's like her. One of 2 state finals. She's been a state final.
Yeah.
Every year except last year.
Yeah.
6th grade, 7th grade, 8th grade, 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade. She didn't play in the state final. I think I tweeted that too.
I think I discovered that.
I did tweet that. This is the first time Uma Cornier has not been in the state finals.
I was running her Player of the Year numbers when I was writing her capsule, and I was like, "There's no way. There is a way. Okay,
Yeah.
all right, yeah.
Yeah.
You really have been around since the dawn of time."
Yes, she has.
And hopefully, the kids come out all right in this situation. That's the only thing you can hope.
I agree. All right, moving on. I don't know. That was a great little tangent there.
Oh, good.
Okay, so I have another thought here. I was looking through some PBA, not PBAA. PBAA is kind of boring this year. There's 2 really good teams. And then there's I wrote this in my capsule, and there's 5 other teams that have been in between 3 and 8
Who are
all
the two?
year.
Who are the 2 really good
Woodbury and Moorhead, thank you. If you know anything about PBAA, you should know that.
Moorhead should really start thinking about splitting into 2 associations.
There you go. Thank you. North Moorhead and South Moorhead. If you live north of,
It's about time Dilworth got its own youth association.
Yeah, I think so.
It's just
And they need
not
a
fair
rink.
to the kids.
They need a rank. Okay, so there's the top 2, and then there's these next 5, and then I swear to you, 9 through 15 in PBAA is just literally like grab bag. So I don't think it's that exciting. I do the rankings, but I always take a peek over at Carter's PBA rankings. I'm like, that's where the action is. That's where the state tournament. I want to be in New Ulm just to see this state quarters.
Okay.
Because there's so many teams I hate to say they're locks to make it to state. Like Roseville's not going to get beat in regions. No chance. They're just too damn good, right?
I thought that about a team last year, and then they got beat in regions. So
Who was it?
Oh, jeez, who was it? Oh, it was Hibbing.
No, they made it to state.
Oh, but they lost in the quarterfinals.
I
thought they were a lock to go to the state title game.
Yeah. You saw them play down in St. Paul.
I did. I thought they were the best Bantamade team.
Okay, so Warroad has been just clubbing everybody. Now that East Grand is out and they're playing PBAA, so Warroad and Hibbing pretty much are fast tracking in the northern part of the state, right? Roseville, Egan, Woodbury. Again, we mentioned their name. Those teams I see. I think that state quarterfinals Friday. I think I really want to be in New Ulm, and you can be at the Bantams. I just want to see that.
Where are the
fantastic? Bantams is in Prior Lake. I'm scheduled to give the banquet speech on Thursday night. Why you chuckle? You don't want to hear the speech, but I think some other people might want to hear it.
I chuckle because never mind.
What? Come on, spit it out.
I've been to one state tournament banquet, and there was a joke made by the keynote speaker at our
YHH.
expense. And I thought, this is funny. Tony's giving the PBAA state speech banquet right
exact same time. At the exact same time I was giving my speech, I was getting harpooned in Moorhead for whatever. So.
And I was sitting with Max Strand.
You were?
Yeah, I sat with the Roseau Bantam AA's.
I sat with the Roseau Pee-wee AA's.
I bet I had a better time.
Yeah, I was nervous because I had to speak in 8 minutes, and I just found out 2 hours prior that I was speaking. So,
and I was nervous. I was like, so how do I hold my knife and fork around kids that are at the state tournament?
I don't know. So I think that's going to be exciting. So just keep your eye on that. I got 2 scores to report in 12A that are interesting. Farmington, barely unranked. I think if there was a top 11, if there was a CARE 11 YHH top 11. Farmington would be 11. They're just outside the top 10. They tied Woodbury, but no one in front of them lost, so I couldn't move them into the top 10, final rankings top 10. Woodbury's number 1 in the state. Tonka gets a tie from Grand Rapids Greenway, who came down and played 3 games. They played Chaskatchan, Hopkins Park, and then they tied Tonka on their way out of town.
Them.
I know. That was fantastic. I saw this Grand Rapids Greenway, and I'm like, wow, they're good. They're really good. They're going to give some teams some trouble in the state tournament this year. I think they'll be a state tournament team as well.
Well, they'll certainly be prepared if they're coming down here and playing
those teams. And I was looking up their schedule. Listen to this schedule. It's on the schedule.
Okay.
You're going to laugh.
Am I?
On Friday, I think it was. Yes, on Friday, they scrimmaged the 15B team, who we're very familiar with. I believe that's legal if you're in-house scrimmage. So that's a good game. The 15B team, who we think is a really good team. They're number 1 in the state. Mm-hmm. So they scrimmaged them. Then they came down to the Twin Cities. They played Chaskatchan in the morning. They played Hopkins Park in the afternoon. And then they went to the Wild game Saturday night. And then they played Minnetonka early Saturday afternoon on their way out of town. That's a full weekend. I bet they slept well on Sunday night.
Sounds like a fun weekend.
I bet a lot of those kids were sleeping in the car on the way home.
I would. If I had to drive back up to the
2.5, 3 hours. Yeah.
I almost said back up to the range. Sorry.
It's not the range. Don't ever say that again. All right. Last note of levels. Bantam 15U. It is chalk right now.
Chalky.
The only teams losing in these levels are the teams below them. So the rankings, I'd say the rankings are right now. They're right on. If you're ranked below somebody and you play someone ahead of it, you're going to lose. There were no upsets last week in both 15A or Bantam AA or Bantam A.
You sound pessimistic.
No, I'm just saying it's kind of where we're kind of settling into who's who and where they belong. But that also means, I think I made a comment in there, that also means because of that, it also means that come playoff times, there's going to be some upsets.
Well, hopefully we see some upsets. We're going to get into that right now because I have brackets.
No, we got to talk about our sponsors.
Brackets.
Remember the bread, right? We just finished the top part of the bread.
Yeah, but you said something about salami, and then there was mortadella, and then there was mustard.
There's going to be two sponsors
olive
in
loaf.
The middle. That's the meat. On the bread, we just talked our notes there, and now we're going to talk about the bread.
Are we to the mustard yet?
No, we're a little mustard. Well, I think you put a little mustard ahead of that to do Map South because it's spicy over there, right?
It is spicy over
spicy
there.
Mustard.
I'm going to let you take Map South.
So Map South has got a great facility.
Yes.
I think it's probably the best facility workout-wise because you have the outdoor shooting, the indoor shooting, all of the different stick handling and finesse plays that you can make training on your own there. Mm-hmm. And then there's the physical fitness, there's the weights, and then obviously the on ice with the great trainers. So your kid's going to get well taken care of, boy or girl, over there. And you're going to be training side by side with other great players. You're going to be training side by side with pros, college players, high school players. It's kind of a who's who over there in Map Southland in Mendota Heights.
I hear there's BioSteel on tap over there.
I think there is. No, there's BioSteel coming out of the drinking fountains there. Did you ever have that lie? Did you ever have that lie?
What lie?
Like the urban myth?
No.
Oh my gosh.
Of what?
Maybe that's just a Zozel thing. Oh, my sister. Whatever school she was at, like I'd be in this elementary school, she'd be at a junior high. She'd be like, "Oh yeah, there's chocolate milkshakes in our drinking fountains," and I believed her. I mean, not by the time I got to fifth grade, I didn't believe her, but
as a fourth grader,
second grader, third grader, I'm like, we just get water in our fountains, you know. It's just like chocolate shakes coming out. So.
And then, did you go to the same junior highs as your sister?
I did, and I got
there. And you eventually learned that it's just tap water, baby.
I knew by fifth grade when I got there was no chance. Or maybe I went to a conference or something at the school and, of course, went running to the drinking fountain and found it was just water.
Your mom and dad are trying to talk about your sister's science grade, and you're slamming the drinking fountain going, no, it's not a milkshake.
Where's my milkshake?
Where's my milkshake?
So there you go.
Well, we certainly didn't have milkshakes where I grew up.
No. All right. And then you are wearing
wearing
fancy jersey.
You see that?
Stand up.
See that?
Show it off.
Logi cameras right there.
I love that.
It's even got my name on the back and stuff. It almost fits. Thanks, Joe. Lakes Area Realty. Realtor Joe McCullough. He'll get you taken care of. I actually had a very productive conversation with him the other day.
How is the house move?
It's loosening. I'm glad we waited. I'll say that because it seems to be loosening up just a little. Like
there's more inventory.
There's more inventory in the areas that we would like to move into.
Okay, and are the interest rates? I'm serious. I'm not.
The interest
rates
your leg here are still they're not great.
They're not ideal, but are they good enough where you can make a buy?
This is a little. Oh well, I mean, yeah.
Okay,
but.
Good.
Okay, this is another little bit of a tangent. I think people's brains are warped because they saw how low interest rates were during COVID, and now anything other than 2.8
right?
is like, oh, yeah, the market is falling. Okay, is it really?
No, it's kind of correcting.
But I had that moment of panic where I was like, Joe, dude, I don't know what's going on. These interest rates, they're crazy. And he said, do you know what interest rates are? And I said, not really, but can you tell me? So he explained to me.
Do you speak to him in that voice?
Yeah, sometimes.
Okay, just make sure.
No, usually I speak to him like I talk to his kids.
Oh, okay.
Hello.
Don't do that.
Hi.
One of my daughter's boyfriends talks to me like that. I hate that. I want to punch him in his big mouth.
I don't know if I would advocate violence on this podcast. Anyway, Joe explained to me interest rates, and he said, look, there's a way to do this. And if we need to, you can refinance when they come down. But he was basically like, I'm here to hold your hand through this process. I'm here to make it easy for you. Because I'm, as a person, I don't like feeling stupid. And there's a lot about the housing market that I just don't understand. I've never bought a house before.
And he makes it easy.
Well, he makes it easy. He never talks down to me. He's not condescending about any of it. He's realistic about what we can afford and where we can get it.
Right.
And he's a fount of knowledge. I mean, you won't find a more knowledgeable realtor in St. Paul for sure.
All right.
Lakes Area Realty.
Love it.
I'm selling the hell out of Joe McCullough as a realtor.
Love it. Love it.
And he made these
How do you get a hold of him?
How do I get a hold of him? I'm sure the email's on the back or something. Hold on.
Let's hear it. You have it.
He's still making the PDF. Like I have his old one.
All right.
We're just going to do an uncomfortable silence for a few seconds.
Waiting.
It would be a good time for you to tell us your story about buying a house.
It was 24 years ago.
What were interest rates like?
I have the same mortgage, so they were probably pretty decent. Let's see, 25 years ago. I bought a house in 1998. I lived in South Minneapolis, wanted to buy a house in South Minneapolis. Couldn't find one, and then I found this in a newspaper. I'll never forget it. I found my house in the newspaper, and it was 4-bedroom, 4 baths, and it had a swimming pool. I was like, that sounds cool. And it was kind of in the same price range.
Don't you hate your swimming pool now?
Yeah, after 25 years, it's kind of like my wife hates it more than I do. But it's been cool having a pool in your house for all of your kids and their friends come over and they hang out at your house versus your kids going other places. Yeah. And then there's like a drop off, like when they hit like 13 and they're playing, 15 sports in the summer and they're running all over the place and going to camps. And there's a summer or two in there where they don't use it at all. And then when you get to high school, it all changes. Then they're there every day. And then when they get to college and they get nanny jobs, they're there every day. They bring their nanny kids home.
That's a cheat code.
Yeah, so it's been nice to have. I don't really use it that much myself, but it's cool, peaceful, nice place to entertain, have a barbecue type of thing. So, yeah.
Well, if anybody's looking for a spot in Minnesota or Wisconsin with a concentration on the Minneapolis-St. Paul area, you can reach Joe McCullough. His office is 612-874-1916. Once again, his office number is 612-874-1916. Or you can reach his cell phone, which he very bravely put on the company's website, 651-303-8521. That's 651-303-8521.
If you're marketing yourself, usually your cell phone will be a good thing to put on the website. It's not like he's you and you write crazy things about hockey players. That would be brave for you to write.
My job is one of the reasons I've considered deleting Facebook. I don't want anybody to be able to find me that easily.
It's hard. I get it all the time.
You.
All right, let's make some predictions. We got a lot of outstate youth district tournaments.
We've got District 9.
Like next week is more the metros lay it all down. I don't know if we can get them all in next week, but we got just a perfect amount of district tournaments here. You need to slap that down here so I can. I'm just going to go. We're going to look and go. Okay.
We're starting with Bantam A's, District 9. Are we picking the district winner or are we picking all 4?
Well, we just go, can somebody beat the 1 seed is the question, right? So Northfield's the 1 seed. If we just go Northfield, that's really isn't a very interesting show.
Yeah.
I don't know much about Mankato or Rochester. I do know that the 4 seed Albert Lee has had a good season. So I would go Northfield as the winner in this one.
I would also go Northfield as the winner in that one.
Just for the record, if you're listening now, we aren't going to do this for everyone. I am going to pick some upsets here.
Are you sure?
I'm positive. Keep going. What's the next one?
It's still Bantam A. It's District 12.
This is a really good district.
Hibbing, Rockridge, International Falls, and Greenway.
All right, so seen Hibbing, seen Rockridge, those two teams. I think Hibbing won the 2-1-8 league, the 2-1-8 conference, beating AA teams. They're the best team in the state, if not the second best team in the state behind Armstrong Cooper. Rockridge is another great season. They came down and beat up on a bunch of teams when they were on their city swing too. I don't see an upset here, but I can also see both of these teams making it to state out of regions.
Well, right now, Hibbing is ranked number 1 according to the YHH staff rankings. Rockridge is number 3, and Hibbing has reached 40 wins.
That's impressive. That's
40
really
wins
impressive.
by Valentine's Day. It's not bad.
Not bad.
It's not bad at all.
Bad.
Sticking with Bantam A's, we are now moving to District 15. May I just say, I like District 15's way of doing this. They got the 15 right there. They got the seating right there. Very easy to navigate.
I like all the printable brackets. Love it.
I like those too. Moorhead is the number 1 seed, followed by Northern Lakes, Detroit Lakes at 3, Fergus Falls at 4, Little Falls. A lot of falls here. A lot of bodies of water in this district.
Yes.
Little Falls at 5.
So Northern Lakes was the team last year. They're the state runner-ups last year in Bantam A's. I don't think they're as strong as they were, but their coach is outstanding. He's a buddy of Kurt Hallstrom's, like from college.
Of course he is.
And he's a good coach too. I'm like, do they go like hang out in the good coach fraternity up at St. John's or something? But that's pretty cool. Moorhead, the number 1 seed. We've seen that Bantam A team plenty. We saw them in the Blue Ox single A only division, and then we saw them in our Lumberjack Cup, and I think they made the final. They lost in the semis to
They came
Delano.
close.
Yeah, they lost the semis to Delano.
Came close.
So they're a top 10 type team. I could see Moorhead going to state.
Right now they are ranked number 6.
Yep, good. All right, on to our next level.
Pee Wee A.
Like I said, I love PWA.
Pee Wee
Love
A. District 9, Dodge County is the number 1 seed, followed by Rochester Red, Mankato, Northfield, Rochester Gold, Minnesota River, and La Crescent.
You got me on this one.
And Waseca.
You got me on this one.
Why?
Right? Because Northfield's the 4 seed. I'm checking my final staff rankings, and look at that. Northfield's 8th in the state. Either our rankings stink or Northfield had a bad run in district play to get a 4 seed. I'm taking Northfield all the way through this district, and this is at home, too.
All games.
Oh, wait, no,
gonna
this is Bantam B you threw down on me. That's not PBA.
What? What is this?
I was like,
this is Bambi.
What is going on? No way.
My stacks are all uneven right now.
Yeah.
All right, Bantam B.
Bantam
number
B
1
and
seed
Northfield.
is Dodge County.
And Dodge County is a legit team in the state. I'm not sure if they're ranked. They've been ranked
not
this
ranked.
year, but that's a good team.
Okay, you like Dodge County and Bantam B's?
I'm going Dodge County, yes.
All righty, sticking with Bantam B's, not Pee Wee A's. Sorry.
Staying Bantam B's.
Rockridge is the number 1 seed in District 12.
Now, Bantam B's is like the top 4 teams in Bantam B's are in District 6. So the other, 8 districts or whatever have to fight over the final 5 seeds. It's crazy.
Right. Number 2 seed is Hibbing. Number 3, Grand Rapids. Number 4, Ely. Number 5, International Falls. Number 6, Rockridge B2. And number 7, Greenway.
None of these teams are in the top 10.
Nope.
And there's plenty of teams. There's Bemidji's, there's Hermantowns.
Red Lake Falls.
Yeah, there's some good teams that are ranked. But I will definitely. Who's the 1 seed?
Rockridge B1.
Just because their A team is so darn good, I'm gonna have to stick with them.
Okay. That would make sense. All right, District 15.
Bantam Bees.
Yes, Bantam Bees.
All right.
Number 1 seed is Alexandria Black.
I was going to say Alex Black.
Number 2 seed is Moorhead Black. 3, Brainerd Blue. 4, Prairie Center. 5, Northern Lakes. 6, Morris Benson. 7, Moorhead Orange. 8, Detroit Lakes.
People hate when we rank teams higher. They lost to us. We should be ranked higher. I'm like, well, you got to look at the entire body of work. Alex Black has had a great run this year. Their body of work speaks that it's going to do well. They're not going to get tested by any of those teams, the Detroit Lakeses and the Prairie Centers, the Northern Lakeses, and that first half of the bracket, where I think Moorhead will get tested. That's where it's going to get interesting when you get down to the wire when they play their tournament this week. It's in Sauk Center.
Well, on Friday, if you want to run up to Sauk Center, you can see Moorhead Black play Moorhead Orange.
That will be not fun. No bueno.
Not fun
on
for
that
who?
one.
Sounds fun for me.
No, I don't like those Edina, Moorhead games. They just make me nervous.
I love it.
They make me uncomfortable.
Somebody's feelings are getting hurt, and I'm here for it.
I know.
All right, Pee Wee A. This is going to be played in Albert Lee. Number 1 seed is Northfield.
Northfield. There we
2,
go.
Rochester. 3, Albert Lee. 4, Dodge County. 5, Mankato. 6, Waseca. 7, Minnesota River. 8,
Who is the
Winona.
2 seed?
Rochester.
Mm-hmm. So Rochester played in our Little Pumpkin,
They did.
and they did pretty well there.
They did.
I'm not sure they got enough to get over on Northfield. There's too much talent in Northfield these days.
Right now, Northfield is ranked number 8.
Yeah.
according to the staff
I just think
rankings.
that's too much. They'll be too much for them.
Chalk.
Rock.
Jayhawk. All right, District 12, PWA. There are only 4 teams in this district.
Mm-hmm.
Hibbing 1, Rockridge 2, Greenway 3, International Falls 4. I'm assuming it's going to be Hibbing all the way.
Yeah, well, they're number 2.
They got to
team in
win
the
2
state.
games, and they go to the regions.
Yeah, it's
Man.
it's easy.
I wish I could have played in that region when I was district when I was a kid. All righty, Little Falls is hosting District 15. There are 5 teams in this district. Number 1 is Detroit Lakes. Number 2, Moorhead. 3, Northern Lakes. 4, Fergus Falls. 5, Little Falls.
I think that Detroit Lakes is ranked. They are ranked.
Number 10.
They're number 10, and I think that Moorhead is also got a really good team at PWA as well.
One thing I would say about Detroit Lakes is they're on a hot streak. They've won 12 of the last 14. You ride the hot hand with the Lakers.
I'm gonna look up what they did, what Moorhead and Detroit Lakes did this year in their head-to-head matchups. So
I'd LOL pretty hard if they tied twice.
Moorhead, they beat them 5-3 and 6-4, but they haven't played since December 16th.
Okay.
I'm going Moorhead.
Alrighty, PWB. Number 1 team in the state is the number 1 seed in District 15. It's Moorhead Black. Number 2 seed is Prairie Center. Number 3, Brainerd Blue. Number 4, Wadena. Number 5, Moorhead Orange. Number 6, Alexandria Red. Number 7, Alexandria Black. And number 8, Morris Benson.
And Prairie Center's had a good year.
Currently ranked number 8.
23-4. But they got doubled up by Moorhead this month. That makes me nervous.
What was the score of that game?
8-4. Eek. And they don't play a lot of teams outside of their district. You look at this, it's Wadena, Alex, Wilmer, Sauk Rapids, Brainerd, where if you look at the Moorhead record, they're playing Duluth East, they're playing Hermantown, they're playing St. Michael, Albertville, Grand Rapids, Osseo Maple Grove, Cottage Grove, Minnetonka. That tells me Moorhead is the team to beat here.
Back to Prairie Center for a second. Who are those 4 losses against? I know you mentioned the one from Moorhead Black by a score of 8-4. However, they have both Alexandrias in their half of the bracket plus Brainerd Blue.
They lost to Bemidji Blue 10-2, who's ranked.
Yep.
And they lost to Litchfield Dassel 9-4.
Gotcha. So none of their losses have come against district opponents other than Moorhead Black.
Right.
All right, so they got a good chance to come out of their side of the bracket.
Yes. They could go to regions, no question.
District 12, PWB, number 1 seed is Grand Rapids, B1. Number 2 is Rock Ridge, B1. Number 3, Hibbing, B1. Number 4, Ely. Number 5, Greenway. And number 6, Rock Ridge, B2. Grand Rapids and Rock Ridge, B1 will each earn a bye into the semifinals thanks to the
That's
16
pretty easy.
bracket.
That's pretty easy. I'm looking
I
for
suppose.
Grand Rapids right now. I don't find
Grand
them.
Rapids is unranked.
Oh,
in the
they're
staff
19 and
rankings.
18. But I will say this about Grand. Wow, they've lost 6 in a row going into districts. They lost to Moorhead Black, Brainerd
Number
Blue,
1.
Hermantown,
Number 2.
right? And then Duluth East, Eden Prairie, who's good. And then they've beat Apple Valley Burnsville. So they've had a rough sledding. I think they're going to get healthy here.
All right.
I'm looking up Rock Ridge. Let me see their record right now. Rock Ridge and Grand Rapids both tied this year. I think this District 12 is a step behind the rest of the state. So you'll see these two teams come out, but I don't think they have a real bright future in regions.
Fair enough. No District 9 bracket for PWB.
They weren't published yet. That's why.
12B.
Oof.
This is going to be hosted in Grand Rapids. There are 4 teams. Rock Ridge B1 is the number 1 seed. Grand Rapids Greenway, the number 2 seed. Rock Ridge B2, the number 3 seed. And Hibbing, the number 4 seed.
Oh, I don't even have to look. I got a feeling Rock Ridge is really good. I saw them play last year. I thought they were really good. I'm like, why don't they have an A team? It's one of those types, right?
Being the number 1 seed, you would kind of assume that they're pretty good. Rock Ridge is number 5 in the state right now.
Yeah, and they did lose last weekend to Two Harbor Silver Bay 6-0.
Okay.
Other than that, it's all dubs. I mean, it's just crazy. They have like 1 loss and 1 tie in the new year. That's insane. They're 29-3-4.
Hot streak.
Yeah. Who's the 2 seed? Who's the 3 seed in 12B?
The 2 seed is Grand Rapids Greenway. The 3 is Rock Ridge P2.
No way.
Could it be Rock Ridge, in the district championship?
Oh, that would be bad.
Yeah.
That's a bad look.
It's not a great. That's
Yeah, not good.
You like variety,
right? Well, I mean, Grand Rapids A team is really good, so I would assume that they got some.
But I mean,
good
they've only got
still.
4 teams. So what are you going to
right?
do?
Okay.
District 15 is going to be in Morris, Minnesota. Number 1 seed.
Have you ever been to Morris, Minnesota?
No. I think I've driven through it, maybe.
My brother Tom went to college, University of Minnesota Morris.
Yeah, my buddy Ryan went to Morris
All
for
right.
a little while. Number 1 seed is Fergus Falls. Number 2 seed Alexandria. Number 3 seed Brainerd Little Falls. Number 4 seed Northern Lakes. Number 5 seed Moorhead. Number 6 seed Detroit Lakes. And number 7 seed the host, Morris Benson.
I'm looking at Fergus Falls. Looks like Fergus went down to 12B this year, and they're just crushing
Currently
it.
ranked number 2 according to staff rankings.
Yeah, they're 32-2-1. What I'd like to see them playing more teams. There we go. They're playing Mounds View, Rochester, Cottage Grove, White Bear. They're playing some non-area teams to kind of prove themselves.
There we go.
So they've had a good year. I can't see why they're not going to advance. Who's the 12B? Is it Moorhead? Who's the other 12? Who's the second seed?
What do you mean? The second seed is Alex.
Yeah, Alex is good too. They're a very deep girls program. And their A team is awesome.
And then it's Brainerd, Little Falls, Northern Lakes, Moorhead, Detroit Lakes, Morris Benson. Rounding out the seeds.
I like Fergus in this one, just because it's their top team, right? Whereas Alex has got they're digging into a secondary class of player.
That's all we got.
All done.
We just
I
went
knew
through
it was a
all
nice
of the printed brackets.
I knew it was a nice amount of brackets to talk about. Where, and it's good practice for our regional one where we have to do 33 of them in one show, and maybe one potty break in there too. You're kind of famous for those.
Oh yeah, my knees are bouncing right now. I've had a Red Bull, I've had a coffee, I've had a 32-ounce water, I've had a coconut water.
I don't think you need any of those liquids to get your knees bouncing. You're just naturally just hyper.
I mean, what?
Yeah, I think You
sound
even
like
Kayla's agreeing with that one.
Kindergarten. You're trying to tell me that you're not hyper?
I'm not. I'm pretty even keel.
Kayla, I need a little help here. He's hyper.
I would say you're hyper with your body movements, and he's hyper with his words.
Wow. Wow.
No, she's right. Because sometimes I watch these videos and
You're moving around a lot
all the time.
He's just very excitable,
But I couldn't sit all hunchy like that. I don't want to get hunchy.
I want to be under control.
I want to be punchy, not hunchy.
I'm just working on being under control.
Oh yeah, a little Tai Chi.
Yeah, a little Tai Chi. Do you have any boom roasteds? Have you been in a rink? Have you had some nails on the chalkboard?
I do have a boom roasted. It's a rule that I think stinks.
Ooh.
The 10-minute misconduct
It's a good
penalty
one.
that doesn't result in a power play for the other team.
Yeah, so if you
why would you care?
If you have misconduct, if you lip off, because that's usually what happens. It's like someone gets lippy with a ref, you get just 10 minutes.
Okay.
See ya. Go sit down. But he should hurt his team too. He or she should hurt their team if they lip off to a ref.
Well, that's
right?
my point.
Don't sometimes they hurt their team though? What if it's like the best player on the team?
I'd rather give him 2 minutes. Like, hey,
I would rather you get a 2-minute unsportsmanlike and then a 10-minute misconduct, because then at least the other team gets something out of it. Last night there was so much confusion when the scorekeeper told me it was a 10 flat. But Gentry put out 4 players because they thought it was a 2 and a 10, and then they sent a player to the penalty box to serve the 2 minutes. The player was sent back out of the penalty box. She skated
Only
to the bench and said, "What do you want me to do?" And then they had her line up. There was 58 seconds left in the game.
So it was
you give somebody a misconduct, but the other team doesn't even get a power play out of it. It seems like a waste of ink on the score sheet.
Was it sour grapes kind of thing? Did the losing team? Or was it the winning team?
No, Gentry had a player get a 10-minute misconduct.
Wow.
But if you're Stillwater in that case, why wouldn't you? You would rather have a 2-minute power play.
Agreed. Especially
I don't care if she has to sit down if I don't get a 5-on-4 out.
I agree. I think
that's a ridiculous rule.
I agree with that one. Any game pucks for you?
No.
I have a game puck to all of the change that's happening as a result of our partnerships with M3, with Sophie Squad, and with the Max Foundation. It feels like a daily occurrence now where I come across somebody who's had mental health issues or dealing with battles with mental health, or the associations, the ones that we're partnered with M3 and Sophie Squad and Max Foundation, are helping people with these issues. It's one thing to sit there and talk about it, but it's another thing to talk about it and hear it and see action being taken about it. And it's very refreshing to see that it's helping people. So if you know anything about these organizations or you want to help people with mental health situations, check out Sophie Squad, check out Max Foundation, check out M3. They're doing some fantastic stuff. I promise the people in these groups, as they work with us, we're going to have some very educational tweets coming out from each of the group, probably 30 or 40 tweets per group. So we're going to have 100 and some tweets that are going to be educational based about mental health, which will be great content for us and great content to let people know about their organizations and how if you support them financially or help support them with just volunteering, how it's going to help everybody in the hockey community and the community outside of us. So that'd be my game puck, would be to those groups.
It takes a village.
It does. So without further ado, we got a lot of hockey to cover this week. I'm excited to see some good youth and some good high school and everything in between this week. For Peter Odney and Kayla Jo Franz, I'm Tony Scott. Thanks for tuning in to 10 Minutes.
You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. You need to stay up out the streets if you can't take the heat. Cause it get cold like Minnesota.